You know, I want to segue, really tap into when we talk about our children, what can we as parents do at home with our children as far as educating and being a support for the teachers. I like the idea of learning how relevant can we actually make learning for our children. Michelle used to always say that teach out of their passion, and if you know what this child's passion is, you can keep learning real because they're going to be connected, in tuned, and on top of the learning process because it's dealing with something that's real for them. So when we talk about learning, how do we make learning real? And learning has to be real, because if not, we lose our children. And and I think that plays a real heavy piece into by the time they're at risk. And we say by the time they reach fourth grade, they're at risk because the learning now is no longer relevant for them because they're changing. The world is growing and it's requiring something more. And so I think when we talk about relevancy, what is relevant in the home? And it's going to vary from one home to the next. But every child has a dream, and every child has who they want to be or going to be, whether it's policeman or whatever. And so if you have a child, teach uh, about collaboration or about group. He wants to be a firefighter. So why not teach him how they interact with each other in the firehouse, how they have to work together as a team and stuff. And you'll find that, man, he'll be more interested. He'll probably pick up more of the strategies and that you want him to learn. He'll walk away with it, hands down. So it's important, I think, that teaching has to be real, and it should be real in the classroom. But with everybody's reality, that might tend to be confusing. But I think it pays that if you want to take that approach, teachers need to understand how to differentiate and how to address each child according to what his passion is. Because if we can, like I said before, if we can tap into what their passion is, then we have taken the learning process and we've put it into real time for them. And because, again, I say that they're digital natives, they think in real time. They don't think in past tense. They don't think in future tense. They think in real time, right now in your face, thinking and processing information. So say a good example. My grandchildren here, they love dinosaurs. I mean, they know every name on the planet. They know what they do, what they don't do, who's carnivorous, who does it. They know all of that. And words that they don't even use at their level. But because it's dinosaurs, they know Rhinoceros, Vasaborus, and Isanaka, Wukaduka, whatever the names are. They got them down pat. And they tell you what they eat, what they do this. So again, to reiterate, parents, what can you do when he comes home with an assignment? FaceTime video. What does that look like? How if I know my child, then I know what interests him and where I can put things. Okay, how I can teach him. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's one of the something. But turn it off now. Yeah, I kind of have gone there. That's what I'm saying. I got my grandchildren here, so they're kind of impacting my thinking right at the moment.
It's
So
okay.
excuse me for that. I'm in real time, y'all.
That's
I'm in
good.
real time.
That's good.
Okay.
I can add, yeah, I believe that everybody has something that they can do well. Everybody has some sort of gift, skill, and talent. And some of us have more than one or two. But I have worked with young people who had no idea what kind of gift, skill, or talent they had. They actually said that they didn't have any. And it is because they never had anybody to help them explore. You know,
Mhm.
I know that my sons, all three of them, they love sports. I try to get them to love music because I love music, but they just didn't. But they love sports. So because they love sports, and my daughters didn't like sports at all. I know that because I made them get into some sports. They didn't like it. But with my sons, I made sure that they explored swimming, basketball, baseball, soccer. They explored sports so they could, be able to find what their gift skills or talents are. And
Mhm.
so, based on that, and the fact that my daughters, they didn't like sports, but they liked other things, they both like arts. So, I always had them in some type of arts program. And when my oldest daughter went into college, she went in at 16. I knew that she needed to be in some type of in the communications department. And, when she enrolled in the communications department, she found, after exploring all the different facets of communication and media communications, she found her passion. So we have to be able to help our children based on what we know about them. We have to help them, we have to place them in situations where they can figure out and they can learn what their passion is so they can create a dream. We all need a dream, and that dream needs to be brought about by whatever we are passionate for. And it's a powerful thing when we can help our children learn what their passions are, and we can support them in their passions by paying for classes, finding a
Yeah.
tutor, putting them in situations where they can build on that gift, skill, and talent. It's just sad to me every time a young person still comes in, 18, 19-year-old still come in my class. And that's one of the first questions that I ask them in the introductory thing. What are their passions? What are their gifts, their skills, and their talents? And it just hurts me so deeply when they just don't know. They don't know that they have any.
Yeah.
Well, as parents, we have to introduce passion by letting them explore. I know with my kids, I had them in the kitchen, you know, I'm not a baker, but let's bake this. Let's try this. You know, you introduce things to them so they can learn whether or not they like it or they don't like it. I know when I was an educator, I would have kids come in and say, "Oh, Miss Kareem, why we gotta learn chemistry? I ain't never gonna use chemistry." I would say, "Okay, who makes Kool-Aid in the family? No, y'all make Kool-Aid at home? Yeah. Okay. So I would say you got one pack of Kool-Aid, you got this much sugar. It's 9 of you in the house. Okay, open up the pantry doors. Let's see what's up there. I say, use your imagination. Tell me what's in the pantry. And then eventually somebody would finally say canned fruit. I said, well, can you add the canned fruit to the Kool-Aid? They say, well, yeah. Yeah, especially if it's fruit cocktail. I said, yeah, okay, well, let's add the fruit cocktail to the Kool-Aid. And then you mix it up. I said, now you got enough Kool-Aid for 9 people. That's the chemistry.
Mhm.
With my grandchildren, I just introduced them to, because they're in California, I'm in Arizona. Said, okay, what we're going to do is get on a Zoom call. Once a month, you all are going to tell me what you want to learn how to cook. Then it's your mom's job to go with you to the grocery store to get it. And then on that Friday or that Saturday, we're going to cook it. I'm going to give you instructions and you're going to follow along. I don't know if cooking's their passion yet, but I'm introducing things to them.
Mhm.
And as a parent, that's what we have to do. We have to introduce things to them. I'm not a singer, but I play music all the time. And I give my grandchildren know, and my children know, I have a wide variety of music that I listen to. You know, I don't just listen to one kind of music. Broad spectrum. You don't know what you like till you try it. Then you can say, oh, well, I don't really like this, but I do like that. But we have to introduce it.
And you know, I think when we talk about real time, storytelling probably is one of the best, I think, in real time phenomena for children, you know, and to be able to even to have them to tell a story around, say, a math problem, turn it into a story, like you said, or to write a story. So, and find something in the house. How you keep your room? Use your room. What do you do in your room? What's in there? You know, what's your favorite toy? And write a story about your toy. You know, and they take that in a lot easier and a lot readily than they would with the topics that they're given in the classroom. Because the topics are very sterile and they're very cold and they have nothing to do with who this child is and what he experiences on a daily basis. So keeping learning real is for the parent is really not, I don't think that's such a difficult thing. And especially if you're there on a daily basis working with your child. You know, it's easy to say, okay, if you're gonna do numbers, let's get some beans out the cabinet. Let's go get some beans. You know, let's count, or, you know, just in the moment, teaching in the moment. That's what I say.
I think the only thing that I could add to that would be modeling certain behaviors at home.
Yeah,
So when your children see you reading,
they're gonna read.
it's planting a seed. It may not necessarily make them want to read right away, but it makes it less foreign to them when they see you writing, when they see you doing certain things.
That's, you know, I think
And also taking the opportunity, instead of punishing a child for something that they do wrong, after you talk to them about that thing that they have done wrong or that mistake that they made, turn it into a teachable moment where they have to either research it or they have to write something down out of the dictionary or the encyclopedia. That was one of my favorite things to do, was to make my children, I would randomly pick pages out of encyclopedia. Sometimes I would have them go pick it. I'd say, go pick a letter. And I think that although technology is there and we can read, we can talk to Siri and have Siri define a word for us or look up anything for us, we still need to have those books. We
yes,
still need to take it back to the basics and have those kids look in a book and write it down. Although they can look it up on the phone or on their iPad or whatever technology they have to use, they can look it up there too. Use all of it. Use everything that you have, and use it at home as well, and try to make learning fun as possible and make learning shared. For to end this statement that I'm making, when one of my children would have to write out some pages in the encyclopedia or the dictionary, they had to present that to the family. Now you have to teach us something. You learned the light bulb is put together how?
mm-hmm.
You had to copy 10 pages out of the dictionary. Read to us 5 of the favorite words that you like the best. Or I might have them read all of the words and then tell us the definition of 5 of your favorite, the words that caught your interest the most, and tell us why.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's learning from your experience, bringing learning in the house of real time, making it useful, because even if they don't quite understand it or like it at that moment, they'll look back on it and say, hey, you were on to something. I appreciate that. I ain't want to tell you then, or I didn't see it then, but I see it now.
That's right. Anybody else want to add before I?
Nope.
Well, I think too, as for parents, and we talk, you know, teaching them and asking the children, say for reading, use, don't use fictitious characters, use your siblings. You know, use their name in place of the character in the book, you know, and then let them take an experience and relate it that they've gone through in real time right here and relate it to what it is that they're reading. You know, and it makes learning a lot more interesting for them, and they're more prone to stay on task with reading. You know, and I've certainly found that out with these three little ones here, is that if we can talk and we take a reading selection and we turn it around and say, okay, that's you, this is me, da da da. So what are we doing? And then what's the moral of the story? And how can you relate that to today? Makes a difference.